Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good day to everyone. My name is Ani Shahira binti Roslin, metric number 264807 from Group K. Today I'm going to present my informative speech entitled The Advantages of Studying Personal Finance. A year ago, I started a dropshipping business with my friends. The reason I came up with this idea is to have some pocket money because my interest to buy luxury things is growing. With that in my mind, I think I can spend the money from my debt and the money I earn from dropshipping for my luxury things. Unfortunately, every month it seems like I faced up with a shortage. I end up asking for additional allowances from my dad, which actually embarrassed me because I have already earned my own pocket money, yet still asking for additional loan. I asked my best friend after telling her my problem, how can I deal with my habit? Even even the money I earn make me overspend, which actually I suppose opposite thing will happen. Then she started to lecture me and introduce me to Credit Counseling and Debt Management Agency. It is an agency set up by Bank Negara Malaysia to help individuals to control of their financial situation, which are mainly accountable for providing financial education on money and credit management responsibilities, guidance and advice on financial management, as well as contrive debt management program to help consumers regain their financial controls. Change doesn't happen overnight. Of course, it is thrill for me to start making adjustments in the first month. However, over the course of the next month, she flooded me as I had started to do well with managing my spending. There are three main advantages we can get after studying personal finance. The three main advantages are to be financially independent sooner, to be ready for unexpected events, and to identify financial mistakes. Let's begin with to be financial independent sooner. Most people understand financial knowledge where most people know how to save and manage loan. However, it is better that if once we understand this concept, we can quickly cultivate financially responsible habits that will increase our financial freedom in the future. Most of us might have many assets but also loaded with loans and debts. Over 80,000 Malaysians declared bankrupt since 2013. This is because most of us have not learned the best way to allocate our assets to the most maximum benefits. To have a good personal balance sheet, we need to understand what is assets and what is liability first. Here is an example from two persons, Nancy and Adam. Nancy is a young adult and fresh graduate who owns a used car and was looking for an apartment. Adam graduated from college many years ago. He owns a luxury new car and lives in a condo he bought with his wife only a few years back. Okay, let's start with their assets which they own. Let's say Nancy's car is worth a ringgit Malaysia, 4,000 ringgit Malaysia. Meanwhile, Adam's car is worth 20,000 ringgit Malaysia, and his condos is worth 210,000 ringgit Malaysia. Nancy's total asset is 40,000 and Adam's is 20,000 on what they owe, which is liability. Nancy Nancy does not have a loan for her vehicle, but she has an education loan, which is National Higher Education Funds Corporation, which is estimated at 20,000 ringgit Malaysia. This place I this places them onto her total of 20,000 ringgit Malaysia for liabilities. Adams, at the other hand, has a car loan 10,000 ringgit Malaysia and a mortgage balance of 190,000 ringgit Malaysia. However, since he graduated from college many years ago, he does pay all the debts and loans. Now he does not have a loan. He does not have any college debt. Literally, college debts. Literally, he, he has he has credit card balance at 15,000 ringgit Malaysia. This brings to 215,000 ringgit Malaysia as his total liabilities. Following the accounting equation, which is asset equal to liability plus equities or net worth, calculated that Nancy's net worth is negative 16,000 ringgit Malaysia. Meanwhile, Adam is a positive 15,000 ringgit Malaysia. Based on this situation, it can be said that most young adults like Nancy who are just out of college tend to have a lot of debts and minimal assets. Adam's positive net worth is negative on most couples in their early 30s who are now starting to accumulate some assets while reducing their liabilities. Gleaned from this situation, we can imagine that we are Nancy if we do not allocate our asset and liability properly, which cause us facing financial problems after graduation. This condition can be opposite if we start planning our net worth early. As we can see, Adam's balance sheet has the highest possibilities to get financial independence soonest. This example can be concluded that Adam applied his knowledge well to assure his personal balance sheet. The main concept here is that the earlier we start, the greater results will be. The effective financial planning is the sooner we will have the financial independence. Furthermore, to be financially ready for unexpected events. According to a survey conducted by Bank Negara Malaysia, showed that many Malaysians are still unable to make financial decisions that are responsible for their own prosperity. When there is financial shocks, Malaysians tend to have a low financial flexibility. The survey also found that we are likely reducing expenses, borrowing from friends and family members, or relying on credit may be the solution when large sum of money are needed for emergency. It is important to keep a minimum of 1,000 ringgit Malaysia in our bank account for emergency funds. Emergency funds are existing funds that set aside to cover large and unexpected expenses. In other words, these funds surely help us in incidents such as other incidents such as job loss, serious illness and major repair to a home or car. The purpose of the funds is to provide highly liquid assets that can be used to open emergency expenses. A good rule of thumb: the emergency fund should have enough money to cover expenses from 3 to 6 months. The more we save for the emergency funds, the more safe it will be. Recently, whole world is facing pandemic COVID-19, which suffers a lot of individuals' financial stability. Some are laid off, some get half paid salaries, and some are unable to start the job as they have high exposure to pandemic, especially international trading. This will cause the bad history payment of the person who takes car loans, housing loans, and credit cards and other financial services, leasing financial services. Considering the unexpected economic condition, the NM extended the moratorium period, which really relieves the borrowers. If we have emergency funds, it will help us to have a peace of mind facing this financial problem. We can use previous saving for this unexpected event, especially for those who have been laid off. Even if we have not saved much, it is better than nothing. The third main advantage of studying personal finance is to identify financial mistakes. Learning personal finance includes learning how we manage our personal budget. A personal budget is a summary that compares and tracks our income and expenses for a specific period of time, usually a month. This budget will show us how much money we expect to bring in, then compare that to our required expenses. For instance, rent, insurance, our discretionary spending. Income means money received by an individual, usually in exchange for providing goods and services, or through capital investments. This is most often received in the form of wage or salaries. For a student like us, maybe our income can be debt allowance, National Higher Education Funds Corporation, or wages for those who are working a concurrent job. Meanwhile, personal expenses are the cost of our personal life or family, where this personal expense usually minus tax payments, withdrawal, or miscellaneous expenses, as well as the amount paid for the goods and services that occur in tax deductible at the account. Our discretionary spending usually is where the budget mistake will be. Discretionary spending is actually we can spend on what we want. This eventually become a problem one for the one who uses this spending, as if you have it spent, where many of us will not have a lot of discretionary spending left over, since once we balance our budget, thus we may have to pick poison and spend on only luxury, means which means we may need to tighten our belly for the luxury we actually cannot afford. After making a monthly budget, we can also see that our purchases are influenced by our personality. Some of us may have overspent for luxury instead of thinking about the other fixed commitment, or some of us may have overspent on the necessity but at the cozy brand, where actually we pick the more cheaper instead of branded. This mistake can be changed to get a better lifestyle by prioritizing fixed monthly payments, choosing cheaper items, and so on. All of this depends on our preferences to apply it or not. Remember, a budget only works if we are honest about both of our income and expenses. To make an effective budget, we must be willing to work with details and accurate information about our earning and spending habits. Personal financial planning is not something that is easy to implement, especially without knowledge. We cannot do it effectively. This can be done with the first step of getting to know how to do it correctly and then to accomplish it consistently. Remember, success is not always about greatness, it's about consistency. Continuous hard work brings success, greatness is counting. These quotes come from Dwayne Johnson, which nicknames The Rock. He is the wrestling actor who perceived that waiting for inspiration is not an option. However, being, being consistent can help us strive to achieve goals, not only achieve it on time, but also show greatness in the process. Therefore, it is very important for us to study personal financing. So let's start our first step to achieve the three main benefits of personal financing, which are to achieve financial independence sooner, to be financially ready for unexpected events, and to identify financial mistakes. That's all from me. Thank you.